This is YG and YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank. I'm your host, David Belman, president of Belman Homes. Today, my team and I are collaborating to help Darick Spears, founder and owner of Darick Books. Let's do this. Welcome to YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank and sponsored by Circle Electric and Health Payment Systems. YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank, is just like it sounds. I bring together a panel of experts to work together to help an entrepreneur that is growing their company. Let's meet the panel.
Hi, I'm Mervyn Bird. I'm a local chair with Vistage Worldwide, and we help enhance the lives and the effectiveness of business leaders and CEOs in the greater Milwaukee area.
Hi, I'm Ariel Kopak with Harness Your Hindrance. I help business owners and sales professionals to take control of the hindrances of their business by identifying the mental and emotional roadblocks getting in their way.
Hi, I'm Lori Hybe, president and owner of Keystone Click. We are a strategic digital marketing agency helping our clients build brand awareness, generate leads, and nurture those opportunities online.
And today, we are helping Darick Books. Let's meet Darick Spears. Welcome, Darick.
Thank you.
Welcome to YG Workshop.
Thank you for having me. I'm very, very honored to be here.
I appreciate it.
And excited.
So, Darick, you have a very interesting origin story for your business. Let's hear about your story.
Well, my name is Darick Spears. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Born on the north side. And as a young kid, I attended 35th Street School. And in second grade is when I actually met change. I got shipped out to the 220 program, which is a program for minorities or people in the inner city to go out to school in Mequon, Wisconsin. So I'm out at Rangeline, Lakeshore, Homestead, those kind of schools, and I'm going back and forth. And I just had to adjust real quick to that change from seeing mostly black faces to going out and seeing, you know, and just dealing with other kinds of energies and cultures and, you know, and money. You know, I wasn't born in a rich household.
Fish out of water.
Yeah, so I learned quickly to adjust. You know, it was me and my sister and my brother. We all went out there, and they got held back a grade, but that was the first time I felt pressure to, you know, hey, I gotta swim. I gotta swim while I'm in this water. So scurrying along, I always wrote, you know, because that was my way of communicating when I was a young kid, growing up in Milwaukee, because a lot of times it was more where I was at, it was the gangs, it was the street mentality, and it was just more of you keep the mug on your face to survive, but the notebook was where I lived. Went to college, Marquette University, Columbia College in Chicago, this and that, and as a writer, I just kept writing and writing and writing and writing. And I got stuck after I was in corporate America for a while. My last job was a journey house on the south side of Milwaukee, and we had my daughter, my youngest daughter, she's autistic. We had to choose. One of the parents, you know, I just basically would stay home with her. So I was a stay-at-home dad for 10 years with 3 girls. So right there, writing every day in journals, and I put out a book out called The Diary of a Stay-at-Home Dad, and it was an Amazon bestseller. And then that's where I started to say, you know what, I want to challenge myself to keep writing. So how my bookstore came about was I was trying to navigate and get my books into the prison system and jails and stuff like that. And I began to do a book box subscription service, and this is just real quick. And I had started to get clients, and I'm like, oh shoot, I only got like 12 books. They can only go for a year.
Sure. Okay.
So I got to write more books.
Sure.
So I got to writing, and I was inspired, and I actually had a dream before I did this stuff. Why don't you start a bookstore that has all the books written by you in it? Yeah. Have you ever heard of that before? And I'm like, nah, that's crazy. But I was like, but my life is not being normal, so I'm kind of crazy too. So that's how Darick Books formed, and
here we are. All right.
Here we are.
Well, I know you have a pressing question, and we're going to get to that in just a moment.
Yes.
And then we're going to have our panel. I'm sure they're going to be dying to hear some more about this.
Definitely. That's a lot. It's a lot of layers.
All right. Sounds good. Let's get to it.
All right.
We're just getting started. Let's take a quick break and come back for more with Ariel, Lori, Mervyn, and Darick. This episode of YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank on YG TV, is sponsored by First Federal Bank, Circle Electric, and Health Payment Systems.
Welcome to First Federal Bank of Wisconsin. Here at the bank, we pride ourselves on providing the community bank difference. To us, it's more than a tagline, it's how we serve our customers and support our communities. When you work with us, you can expect quick local decision making,
a great customer experience,
and a significant community commitment. As experts in the products and services we provide, we are here to help you achieve your financial goals. Proudly serving the Milwaukee metropolitan area since 1922, we look forward to serving you and showing you what the community bank difference is all about.
Circle Electric is a 35-year commercial, industrial, and healthcare electrical contractor with engineers and designers on staff, backed by the most technical and well-trained master and journeyman electricians. Whether it's an equipment move, new building, or commercial remodel, from pre-construction all the way through startup, primary power, branch power, or low voltage systems, they are here to support you. Our 24/7 on-call service department is here to meet your electrical needs for our industrial and healthcare customers. You always hear safety first. They are safety always. Circle Electric will maintain electrical reliability for business continuity.
For more than 80% of families, today's medical billing practices are confusing. At HPS, our goal is to improve the healthcare experience for the patient by making medical bill payments less stressful. In Wisconsin, that's all made possible by our comprehensive independent healthcare provider network. We simplify billing and lower costs for everyone involved in healthcare and offer various ways for individuals to pay without breaking the bank.
So Darick, I know you have a burning question in your mind for our panel of experts here. So what is the most burning question on your business today?
On my business, the most burning question is when you're building your brand, not compromising your brand, your vision, while trying to grow it. Because without me as a visionary, you run into different people. I wouldn't be here right here today, I believe, if I had a normal bookstore, because it wouldn't be it was just a normal story. So when you run into people who have questions or they're just thinking like it's a normal bookstore, I want to add different things into the store to, for opportunities for even local authors or other people like that. But I don't want to tarnish the branding of what I want to look at 100 years from now. Like, this is a company like Carhartt. This is a North Face. This is a real brand company. Like, and it's not just some.
Sure. Yeah. You want to build your business, but you don't want to affect your brand.
And look back and say, oh, what is this?
Okay. Good question. So I know our panel, you guys have some questions before we get into this.
Yeah.
You have a very interesting business concept, as we know. So I'm sure you guys have some questions about his operations and things before we answer this. So who here on the panel, who's got a question that they want to ask?
Well, I've got one about branding. Seeing.
Let's hear it.
First, in your mind, what exactly is your brand as of today?
Well, Darick Books, just the bookstore, Darick Books, is really the book. Well, my brand is a media company. It's Tri-Media. It does books, film, and does music. Bookstore is like a showroom. So when you come in, you like, I like this. Buy books or whatever. That's cool. But I also offer services of writing books and publishing, and I'm a ghostwriter. I've actually helped some people already publish books and already like that. So that's kind of also.
So you mentioned like Carhartt and some other brands.
Yeah.
And when I hear those names, there's an immediate response that I have.
Yeah.
What is the response that you want people to have when they hear Darick's books?
One-stop shop creative world.
Where we get?
I do.
I can tell you got a question.
Yeah. So Darick, I want to know, what is the viability of your business if you do not branch out into other brands? What's the viability of just keeping your books in the store? How viable is your business as a going concern?
Well, as a going concern, I'm not really. Well, are you asking? Am I more concerned about?
No, I'm asking: is your business able to be a real business and thrive?
Just off my books alone? Yes, and there's ways. Yes, I believe there's ways. And
Tell me more.
And the reason why I say that is because, as of right now, I've been looking into. Becoming a vendor, not for just schools, not for just prisons, but my unique ability to write my books as in being a unique book, like the books that I write, as of getting them out into these places that no one has my book. As an author, it's cool because if you got 12 authors on your shelf, I add another one. You know, I'm the author, so I could thrive off that by just the uniqueness of, oh, this is guy, he's a writer we don't have on our shelves, and we can check these books out. And the books that I write are not just they're for people, and they're for helping, like entrepreneurship books, workbooks, or they're all or good herbs, health books. So it's like all into different industries. So that's what I've been doing as of now is becoming trying to become a vendor in these. So if I don't sell a book today, someone doesn't come in and buy, and I have shipments that I need to send out for orders to other places. So yeah, I truly believe it could. Yeah.
So I'm going to jump in with a quick question. I know you guys got some other ones. So my question is on the thought process, because you're clearly a super creative guy. You're talented. You do a lot of things. You do music. You do the books. But why a brick and mortar store when everybody's closing those down? That for me was like, I got to know this.
Because I was online for a couple years before I had a brick and mortar. I'm a personable person. I like meeting with people. I like talking to you. I don't want you just to think online I'm just gonna, hey, let me write your book, and you're talking to me via Zoom or something.
Sure.
No, come in. And you know what really inspired it was I took a trip to Disney World, and just being in there and even watching Walt Disney, how he built, it's just like I wanted it to be a place where you come and you just become so creatively inspired that you just walk out and you just say, this is a different world. And most of the customers who come in have said that. So I was like, I know it sounds crazy for me to do that, but I was like, I want to be able to, the digital platform is the same exact as the brick and mortar. It's just that you get Darick and you get that customer feel, and I feel people don't think that it'll work. But I mean, it has so far, but it will, because some people still like to hold physical things and talk and so.
Ariel, you got a question?
I sure do. So, Darick, I'm going to ask you a challenging question.
Okay.
Without using the words I or my, what was your intention or mission with providing Darick Books to the world?
Providing services for people who feel like, I don't want to use the words, who feel like an individual that has something that they want to do, but they just feel like, man, I want to roll. I'm rolling with the same current that everyone's going with. So
what services? You said services.
I provide video services. I just signed a client Darick Books has signed a client to do a documentary on her company and bring her legacy, because I'm focused also on legacy and stories. Like, what are you going to leave behind? Who are you? What are you going to do? So that's also something I didn't explain, that with people who I collaborate with, those books are on my shelves. Those books are people that I say, hey, they collaborated with. So if you do like Carhartt does a collaboration with Nike, you're probably more likely to see it on their shelf versus, so it brings people in. And that's why I did it. I actually did it just to be like, hey, crazy or not, you could do it. You could try in the middle of this time period, try to put a brick and mortar spot in the time period where everyone's digital and see what it is and see what happens. So it's like, okay.
Darick, I've got a question for you. Who is your ideal customer?
My ideal customer for buying books?
For the brand that you want to build right now?
My ideal customer, is because it's not Darick Books, is not for everyone. My ideal customer is a person who wants something new, wants to try something new, and just wants to, either as a writer, also wants to, they have an idea, they want to come in for inspiration. That's my ideal customer. They just want inspiration, whether it doesn't matter. They don't even have to be a writer. They just come in and just looking to say, all right, I'm gonna go start something else too. I'm about to just do something. And I call it the first of its kind because it is. And I mean, hey, you could go and start something and call it the first of its kind too. So that's who my ideal customer is.
I feel like you need to zone in a little bit more on that. Is it like a business owner that's seeking inspiration? Or you mentioned students, is it students that are seeking inspiration, but what type of inspiration, what path are they trying, what goal are you fulfilling for them?
Well, for a business owner, my goal for a business owner to come in, sometimes business owners aren't happy with the way their businesses are going. And maybe they come into my spot and see that as a fresh breath of fresh air, and they're like, a fresh perspective. And I bounce off. That's the conversation is there inside my spot. We bounce off, we talk about everything. I talk to business owners, I talk to students who come in and say, hey, I don't know what to do, I'm about to go to college. Well, I've been there before, so it's a conversation that starts in my place. You know, so it depends, it really varies. I know what you're saying. I really can't tell you the name of the business owners who want to come in.
Yep.
But I just feel like when I went to, I just keep using this thing. When I went there, I'm not gonna say I don't like Disney like that, but I just was inspired. I walked around, I'm just like, okay, I see this branding, I see that, I see this and that. I was like, it's just a whole different world. Everyone's walking around and everyone seems to be happy. And this is like, I want to make something like that, where everyone's happy. They walk out. When they walk out how they walk. You know, they walk out inspired into the crazy world. But when they're in here, there's no. It's like Planet Fitness. There's a free zone. There's nobody talking about you, laughing at you.
Yeah.
It's just you're like inspired.
Well, I got kind of a two-part question for you. And so, you know, first of all, like how many employees do you have, or do you have employees? And then how do you do the creative process when you got people popping in and out of your store?
It's so funny. I like people to see me working.
Okay.
You know why?
So you're like the fudge shop, making the fudge.
I
right?
like that.
You're gonna see it made in front of you, right?
I like when they come in and like, look, we always come in and Darick's always working on a book or something. So we know he is so passionate about what he's doing that he's doing that. You're gonna catch him doing that regardless if he's at home or at work. And I know right now what I do is I don't have employees. I outsource, and that was another one of my questions. I outsource teams from, you know, I still hire digital stuff, you know, get this, I do that, but that is what, as a growing process, that is what I want to do, to groom employees. And I do have employees groomed in my mind that come in all the time because they're gonna have to know Darick Books. They're gonna have, I got people who are like,
So I'm gonna challenge you a little bit because here's the thing, like running a business, the definition of a business is a profitable enterprise that works without you.
Yeah.
Okay? You right now have made a job for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? That's okay when you start off, but at some point you have to start to turn this into a business and it can't rely solely on you because if you get sick or something happens, you're shut down. I mean, you might have your online sales, but you need to have that mindset. That's going to be really important for you going forward if you want to grow this and you want to grow this platform. You guys have any other thoughts, questions on that?
I do. So, as I've been hearing you talk, Darick, about film, music, books. Maybe just get it here. What makes the money? What makes the money out of those three?
Right now, film has, and I would say right now, I just signed like a 5-figure deal, like with someone to do a production for a documentary. Right now, that has, I'm talking about within the last 2 months, that's brought in the bulk right now.
Okay.
Sell books, yeah. Oh, and also book writing for authors. I've written for authors, and those are close to the same type of deal. So if someone's spending 10 or 20 grand with me to write a book, they're also spending 20, 30 grand with me to do a documentary or whatever or more. So those, and a lot of times when I do a documentary for someone, I will also set it up where eventually we can do a book for them. So those, a lot of times when I say the storefront, the showroom is, hey, well, I already know you could do all these. And I have videos on Amazon Prime that I've already done. So a lot of people, that's how I got my documentary gigs. So people are like, oh, I saw some of your stuff on Prime. You know, I want to work with you on doing the video. And music-wise, I've done a lot of things in the Grammy community and all that other stuff, so I'm easily able to work on projects for other people. So those things are like the back of they wouldn't know that when they walk into the store. They're like, oh, sure. But those are the money. That's the money right there. So I'm trying to push now to get to.
Yeah, my question is then, why have a brick and mortar? Like, I still am not getting to it. Like,
you know what?
You can do all that without that.
You know why though? Because I also have been at home, working from home for 10 years. I don't want to be at home.
Okay. I get it.
You understand? It's like you're sitting at home with 3 kids and you go crazy. And then it's like you get an opportunity to, my daughter, my youngest daughter, she's 6. So she finally I was like, when she gets out the house and goes to school full time, I'm going to get out of this house too. And that opportunity opened this door for me with the store. And I'm like, hey, I'm out of here. You know, so I know it sounds crazy,
Sure.
but it's
Okay.
also for my sanity, because as I'm inspired, as a person who's inspired and creative, you find creative spots, maybe in your house or this and that, and after a while they fade. And it's like, I need some more creativity, I need some more inspiration. So being around people, being in the city, gave me a different realm of inspiration. Like, oh, cool, you know, I need to get out, because sometimes you could be in your house just making phone calls, versus I'll show up. I mean, I know COVID. I'll show up at the office. I'll knock on the door. Hey, let's have a talk. Let me show you what I'm actually talking. And I found myself being more successful once I got out into a spot. Like, I was doing this 2 years ago. I never got a call from a news place like CBS. As soon as I moved into a brick and mortar spot, they called me. But I was like, I was doing it 2 years ago. You know what I mean? So it's
Sure.
like it gave
you
different
exposure. Okay.
exposure.
I want to double down though on what David was saying though. Darick, there's one of you,
Yeah, I agree.
and there's no duplication going on here. You are chief cook and bottle washer in your company right now.
Yeah.
And if you don't, how are you going to figure out how to expand that and broaden your horizon there so you can do more? Because right now, I just feel like the energy that I feel is,
Yeah.
it's all over the board,
No,
right?
I agree with you, that's what I've been. That was one of my other questions. You know, staffing versus outsourcing. You know, and I say that because people come in and they'll say, hey, I wanna work. You wanna hire, but they have a total. They just want money. You know, they just want to make some money. They don't give a care about the organization. They don't even care about growing it. You can have a conversation. Somebody can walk in and be like, what is this all about? And they're just more like looking like, are you going to get some? It's like you want the person who is just as excited as you about the place that they're like. And that's why I said I talk to people all the time. You grow, and I get to the point where you're 100% right. Like, I don't want to be all the time sitting in the store. I want to get to the point where I can go and I can train.
Yeah, it's about scalability, I think, is what Mervin's getting at. Is like, you need this, if you ever want to scale this and grow this to that level and have that brand, you've got to be able to pull yourself out of that. And so, Mervin, yeah, you want to follow up on this?
I do. So, Darick, I just want to double down on what David was talking about, that the business is you right now. And how do you scale that? How do you scale the business? Because right now, the energy that I'm feeling from you is that you're all over the place from a focus standpoint. How do you scale your business to make it a true business that can run without you?
Well, I think, now that I think about it, my job right now as building the foundation of my business, as the face of it, is to, like, when I work, every project I work on is to create that signature. So it's like, that is my business. Like, that's my brand. Like, when he does something, is this level of quality, or does it? So if I was just to be starting off and I let someone else do it, and then they messed it up, and it would mess up in the building of the foundation. Like, it would be like, it's like Dr. Dre. If Dr. Dre was just letting someone else do his beats, he wouldn't have the name as the producer he is now. But then eventually he work with other producers and stuff like that, and make sure the sound, the quality, when you go there, you know what to expect of a Dr. Dre beat. That's what I want for Darick Books, to lay the foundation, and then whoever even as companies or anyone else I work with, or who becomes the people working, they have to live up to that quality standard. You know what I mean? I just feel like I got to lay the map down first.
Ariel, I know you got a question, I can tell.
I sure do. So, Darick, you mentioned Disney quite a few times. You mentioned, yes, love Disney.
You ever
right.
watch? Oh, no, sorry. You got to watch the documentary on the Disney Channel of Walt.
Fantastic.
It's like 3 or 4.
So let me ask you a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how loyal do you think Disney customers are?
I think they're very loyal for it to last as long.
Absolutely.
Like, they're very loyal.
So tell me, with trying to attract people who want a new idea, how loyal of customers are you going to build? With always trying to attract the person who wants the new idea, because they're not going to stop wanting the new idea with you.
I like that. I want if 100 loyal customers to me are better than, 500,000 people just, because those loyal customers are gonna have kids, they're gonna have, you know what I mean? They're gonna spread, and that's why every time I get with a customer, I just make sure it's the best I can do, you know what I mean? Especially when they come in, we talk, I'll throw extra stuff in their bag when they leave. Hey, you want some fruit snacks? You want, just whatever, come back, let's talk. Because I want loyalty, like, I'm a loyal fan and customers to a lot of people, and like anything they get, I don't even have to like question it. I'll just go get it. Like, oh, they got something new, I'll just get it, just off the strength of my loyalty, and that's what I'm trying to build. So those are the kind of customers I want.
So this will be a good tee-up to Lori here with marketing, but I think it's important to identify who is going to be loyal to you as your customer.
Yeah, actually my question was going to be, as a business owner, you mentioned before, why should I be interested in Darick Books?
Probably already are. Why would you? I couldn't answer why. Oh, I could answer why, because it's unique. First of all, the noise and what you hear is like, I felt like when you first hear a first bookstore, it was kind of like, well, what is that? Then when you hear about what the kind of store is, you're like, I never heard of a store. He wrote all the books in there. Well, let me go ahead and check it out. So then when you start to go in and you're like, kind of curious, you're like, oh, it's not even just books. I have my own like Hallmark cards I've written. They're not Hallmark, they're Darick Books cards, T-shirts, everything in there is more like so once you come in and you meet the face of the business, and that's why I said in the beginning, it's building my foundation. You meet the face of the business and you're like, hey, this is Darick. I met Darick, he's cool. So once you start, cool, I like what he's doing, this and that, I really respect that. Once that happens, that's why I said, in this day and age where the current is running every day and everyone's on social media, it's so hard to build customer loyalty because they'll swap any second. But with me, it's no generic version of me. It's only one authentic Darick Books. So I want that customer to know that off their curiosity, it's my job to make you want to be a loyal customer.
Sure. So I'm going to challenge you, because what I heard you say a couple times is once I come in. And building a brand is getting my attention before I even know anything about what's happening in the store.
So, and Darick, we're going to pivot in a sec here, but you're super creative. You're a visionary type person. But yeah, like Mervin said, you've got a lot of different ideas of what you want to be. Really before you get to where you want to go, you're going to have to really start to drill down. You're going to need to focus. And, a lot of the visionaries, they need someone else with them or beside them to help. Like honestly, like you're going to need somebody to keep you accountable. You need an accountability partner. Maybe it's a coach, maybe it's somebody like that. And a lot of the really great creative type of people, they need an implementer. You're the visionary, but you need an implementer eventually if you're going to want to grow, in my opinion. You're going to need someone to be able to, okay, how do I make that happen? Because, again, you're just you right now. Yeah. And you've got so many different things that you're working on, but you need somebody to kind of rein you in. I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's actually a great book called Rocket Fuel that talks about that exact thing. And Walt Disney had an integrator, implementer. It was I think it was his brother or his cousin. And he put the brakes on when his ideas were getting too crazy. He said, no, we're focusing on this specific thing, and then we can talk about tackling this other initiative.
No, it's very true. When you go into creative, it's hard to, when you're a creator and you're in creative mode, it's hard to, sometimes you got to lock out and go into business mode, and it's like, that's why I'm not one to I'll go for advice, and seek wisdom, especially from people who are able to help. But you're also very cautious about your baby, you know what I mean? Like that's why I was saying growing the brand without tarnishing what the vision of it is, because some people, like Walt, if Walt never went with his complete vision, if we wouldn't, of course they expanded after he died, but they wouldn't have had that core foundation to even build off of his vision. So,
as you mentioned the creative process, there is a difference in mindset. When you're going from creative process, you're going from internal out, right? You're expressing, you're sharing yourself, and you want people to care. And there's people who will care. But if you want loyal customers, then you have to start thinking about what do they care about. You have to switch your mode from expressing from the internal to going from external. Thinking about their perspective. Care about your customers more than you want them to care about you.
I like
good advice.
I also say getting some perspective, right? Because if the only advice that you ever take is your own, and you are losing, right? You're missing out on a lot. So getting that someone else who's not you. I always say that I'm a great coach for you because I have a great advantage over you in so much that I'm not you. Right? And then vice versa.
That's
right?
true.
Because you don't know what you don't know, and you don't see your own blind spots. And so I'd say get some great perspectives from others and just take it all in.
Yeah, so I think from
That's great advice. Thank y'all for that. That's great advice.
Yeah. So I think rather maybe the question that you asked, it's a good question, but it's not quite the right time yet for that question, right? I think, what I'd like to see maybe from the panel is, okay, where does Darick go next? Like what is the next step for Darick, to go to? And so I'd love your thoughts on where you think he should go next.
Certainly. So Darick, it's, as Mervyn was saying about the business, separate out what fuels your passion and what fuels your pocketbook, because those can be very different. And it's okay to have things that fuel your passion that do not fuel your pocketbook. But you have to identify what those things are and make sure that you're giving enough attention to your pocketbook so you still have the capacity, the mental freedom, the emotional freedom, and time to do the things that fuel your passion.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. I would say that clarity trumps persuasion.
Okay.
And being very concise in your messaging. You have a fantastic story to tell, but when it comes to marketing, you have to get right to the point. So what I was just jotting down is that what you're doing with your stories and getting people to hire you for documentaries and books is you're helping them tell their story. So I think that's something that you can play with a little bit, is Darick Books telling your story.
Because you're doing, I was going to ask you, because you do it the digital. And that was one of my questions too. Digital versus the physical. Because I spoke to someone last week about marketing. I'm talking about forest marketing. And they're like, well, it doesn't really make sense because to do a billboard in a city, people aren't really out looking at billboards versus being their digital presence or buying media and online and, or within a certain area code and using that video ads and stuff like that. What would your opinion be?
So even though I'm in digital, the right
Okay,
answer here is that you have to really understand who your target customer is. Who is that person that you're trying to attract to your business to hire you to do whatever it is you want them to do? Then you figure out, where are they? Where do they get their news from? What are they on social media? Are they driving past the billboards on 94 every day to get to work? Are they listening to certain radio stations? The more that you understand who your target customer is, the better that you can create a message that's going to connect and resonate with them, and you're going to place that message in the spot that they're hanging out in. So you want to fish in the pond that your customers are hanging out in.
Mervyn, what's your final piece of advice for Darick?
Darick, focus, focus, focus. If you continue on this current path that you will always own this job. It will always be your baby, your job. At some point, you need to be able to let go of the baby to be able to grow. Or else it's always going to be a baby. It's going to be in need of you to tend to it. So you have to focus, man. You have to figure out.
That's a great visual. I love that.
That's a dope, the baby. I can see the baby always walking around on a teat. And you're like, get off me. Yeah, you're right.
You want this baby to grow up and to be able to perform on its own
and buy you something and to buy you a house. And
and if you remain in the mode that you're in right now, that will not happen. I'm going to tell you straight up, that will not happen.
I don't want to remain, and I've had conversations with my own self, but that's why I definitely was asked, I want to grow it and I don't want to remain. And so I'm definitely, the advice that I'm getting right now, I don't know why I don't have my notebook, but mentally, the advice I'm getting right now is something I'm going to apply, all of it, so.
I have one last thing I want to add to Marvin's actually. Just that obviously you are extremely passionate about what you're doing. But when you're questioning employees versus outsourcing, just know that no one will ever have the same level of passion that you have for the business.
Okay, so Darick, you've heard from the panel. What do you think of the advice, and what are you going to walk away from this experience?
I like the advice. I like hearing other people's perspectives, even though some people in life have always called me bullheaded or rebellious. It's not that. It's just that when you're a visionary, a lot of visionaries you will find are stubborn and what they got it. They have their vision in their mind. They're like, but one thing I learned is that I don't know everything. I read a Bruce Lee book, and he was like, if you walk in with a full cup of water, you can't, you got to empty the water out before you get, you come in there with an empty cup so you can get filled up. So that's one thing about me. I'm like, I don't mind taking advice and taking chances and rolling the dice. That's one thing that's the other side of me. I'm a chance taker. So I'll roll the dice and do stuff. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll try something else. I'm not going to ever give up in what I'm doing. I just want to make sure I'm working smarter and not harder, you know. So definitely. So I think all the advice.
All right. Well, Darick, thank you so much for coming on YG Workshop today.
Thanks for having me.
It was a great discussion, very interesting business. You've got the passion plentiful, you've got the vision, but it's going to be focused for you. You've got to really kind of focus in, get a plan, and talk to some other people and help steer you in the right direction.
Yeah, next time I'll have to bring you guys wings. You know, we have to get some wings, and eat while we're doing this.
You're part of the brand too?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks to Darick Spears for sitting down on YG Workshop, presented by First Federal Bank and sponsored by Circle Electric and Health Payment Systems. YG Workshop is a collaborative environment designed to help businesses see their blind spots, consider new perspectives, and grow toward their goals. Do you know an entrepreneur that would like to come on the show? Have them visit younggunsmovement.com and apply. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single episode of YG TV. I'm your host, David Belman, president of Belman Homes. Thanks to our panel, Mervyn Bird, Ariel Kopak, and Lori Hybe, and our entrepreneur, Darick Spears. See you next time.